it going? Matthew Bailey Media here, and welcome to another TV show review. Now, this time it is going to be on one that honestly I was a little nervous about since it was originally done by Netflix and now it's gotten a fourth season technically for Disney Plus, and that is, of course, Daredevil Born Again. Yep, I'm not kidding. This is the fourth season to the Netflix Daredevil that we got with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio as the two main characters of Daredevil and Kingpin. And to give you a quick recap on the original Netflix show, I watched it and I gotta say I was really surprised by it. And even though it was done by Netflix and not by Marvel themselves, they still tried their very best to tie in the events of the Daredevil show to the events of the MCU, because we know that because technically season 1 of Daredevil took place not a few years after the events of the first Avengers movie with the Battle of New York, and they sort of referenced that in the first season of Daredevil that was on Netflix. But with Daredevil Born Again, I will say it really does a good job at tying in past elements that of even some past Disney Plus shows that we've gotten from Marvel recently. Like we had Vincent D'Onofrio show up in the Hawkeye show as the leader of the Tracksuit Mafia. We also got him in the Echo show, which led almost directly into the events of this show. Which, because we did sort of get references to both shows. Like we had the whole thing with that happened with Kate Bishop. Happened. We even saw a character from that show pop back up, which was Jack Duquesne as Sword, or I think his name is Swordman in the comics. I don't know, but that character of Jack showed up in Daredevil Born Again. So slight spoiler there, but that's the only spoiler I'm gonna give now. Now I will say there was one thing in the very first episode that I completely was not expecting. And I'm really looking forward to see how they address this in season 2, because this actor is supposedly rumored to show up in season 2, but it's like, how is he supposed to show up if a certain thing happened or whatever in season 1 that I'm not going to spoil exactly. But I gotta say, this character, I'm surprised they're even going to be making an appearance in season 2 after what happened in season 1. And we did get a lot of actors from the original Netflix show to come back and portray different characters in this show, because especially, and now I will say this because this isn't really a spoiler, but one character that was originally going to get recast in this show and it wasn't going to be fully connected to the Netflix show was Vanessa Fisk, who we know is married to Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. Now, but after the whole, I think technically after what happened back in 2023 with the whole, how do you want to say, writers and actors strikes, they finally decided, you know what, we need to do a complete overhaul and reconnect it to the Netflix show, and they did. So I'm really looking forward to see what they do in season 2. But I will say this was definitely a decent show. It was a more mature show as well. Like just because Daredevil on Netflix was rated TV MA, we had the exact same thing happen with this show. And there's one scene in the very last episode that I was not expecting at all with Kingpin's character, and you could tell this was definitely rated TVMA. I'm surprised Disney even allowed this scene to happen, but it was a pretty brutal scene between Kingpin and another character, and I am so surprised that they did this. But I will say, this is definitely a worthy sequel for the Daredevil show, and a good way to continue certain plot elements from two different Disney Plus shows, which were Hawkeye and Echo, when it comes to these two characters. Now, the only time that the character was not featured in that either of the two main characters was not featured in or they were featured in a Marvel project, but they did not get referenced, was when Daredevil appeared in She-Hulk Attorney at Law. It turns out that his appearance in that show really didn't get referenced at all. But they did reference Spider-Man, technically. They didn't say his name per se, they just said a guy in a spider outfit, which is still code for Spider-Man. So it's nice to see them tie in the events of Spider-Man, No Way Home especially, because that's the only other time we saw Charlie Cox as Daredevil. But I'm really looking forward to the future of Daredevil. So now let me give you my rating of the show. So for my rating of Daredevil Born Again, like I said, great show. Definitely a worthy successor to the Netflix show. And I'm hearing a lot of original Defenders actors like Jessica Jones, played by Kristen Ritter, and a lot of the other actors might come back to portray their characters again to fully connect this whole thing. And I'm really looking forward to it. But for my rating of Daredevil Born Again Season 1, I'm going to give it a legit 4 out of 5. Yep, 4 out of 5. Now, like I said, there were some elements I was not too thrilled about, where you barely see Charlie Cox in Daredevil costume, but I still think it was a decent adaptation for the continuation of Daredevil. So, anyways, that's all for now in this review, and I will see all of you guys in the next video.